Hello Aries, I am Ulrich, I'm a Lenormand card reader, and today we will do the financial philosophical card reading for the sign of Aries for the month of February. As always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Aries, and these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you, on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. The subject of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check out the videos that are immediately connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. Also, I want to add, if you have questions, you can always post them in the comments below, and of course, as soon as I have time, I will answer you. So Aries, here we go for your financial card reading for the month of February. Hello Aries, and welcome to the shell or the water group for your financial philosophical card reading for the month of February. As your first card here, we see the card of resilience. What does this card tell us? Well, maybe we spend a little bit too much here, and there's some balance here that we need to find. Maybe there's some financial insecurity here that we are seeing here, and we need to find resilience as our ally here. Anyway, this card tells us not to remain passive. We need to have some action here. We cannot sublimate here to our fate here. If this is a reflection of certain situations that we implemented here, we should learn about these lessons. Probably there are some pros and cons here that we are confronted here. Anyway, we should acknowledge here that we are learning a life lesson here. We should make the best out of it here, and remember, maybe this is about spending small amounts of money here. And some people who were wealthy, by spending small amounts of money, you can get into problems here. This is what we are seeing here, mostly with this card. Anyway, it tells us that we need to find solutions. We need to be persistent. We need to learn from these experiences. If this is a reoccurring thing that is always popping up, maybe we should learn some lesson here. Maybe we should change certain behaviors here. It's also about becoming aware of certain flaws that we might have, weaknesses, and we should turn this in our advantage here. This is what we are seeing here. This is not a question of bad luck, but probably we are co-responsible for the fate that we are facing right now. Anyway, we must overcome this obstacle. We must learn the lesson, and this is about learning how to bounce back. You should apply resilience here. When the storm is calmed here, the financial storm, you will learn, you will see that you have learned an important lesson, a financial lesson, and a lesson of life. The next card that we are seeing here, it's about our monthly payment. What does this card tell us? Well, we all have monthly payments. We have small bills, telephones, internet, insurances, magazines, subscriptions. These are things that are recurrent, systematic, and we don't pay much attention to them because they are always coming back. But this card tells us also that a large proportion of people don't even notice when there are increases in these payments. Not even if the increases are fairly major, we don't notice them. And this question asks you, did you notice that some of your expenses here might slightly or even be increased here a lot? Sometimes these firms, we sign in during a certain promo. For instance, I give internet here, you signed in during to an internet promo, and this was a time-limited offer. Afterwards, when your promo is expired, these firms have by law in many countries the right to put you in a different pay system. If you don't pay attention to them, they don't need your permission. They just can do it like that. So we are informed consumers, and we should know the law. This is in many countries so, but of course, most of us don't know this. Anyway, we should keep track of these time-limited discounts, keep track of expiration dates of certain promotions here. This is what this card is telling us. If you see that, example, internet again, that your company, they have changed your system, call them and see if you can get back your old advantages, new discounts. Sometimes it's also about insurances. Maybe it's a very long time you reviewed your insurance portfolio. If you don't know nothing about insurances, just check a broker and see if everything is still up to date. Sometimes it's also about banks. Here, this card tells us also if we are still in the classic banking, maybe you already do some things at home with your internet, but this is actually also sometimes about internet banking. This card tells us also if we need to make some serious changes or we want to make some serious changes, we could consider going all virtual banking. I hear you thinking, yeah, but is this whole thing safe? Well, if you do some checking out and you play a little bit police officer for a few hours, you will see that many of these banks are actually indirectly connected to very big banks. They just operate under a different name, and they are mostly connected to big banks. So here we should double check it, and probably also your bank has one that they are connected to. So double check it here. The advantage of totally internet banking is that they have no physical locations. And also they have no staff. And you already hear me coming here. If they don't have those things, they operate, of course, they operate cheaper. Meaning, if you go for internet banking, don't be surprised if you save $1,000 to $2,000 euro a year, and you actually don't need to do nothing for that. These are just basic expenses. Because if you calculate everything, every time you withdraw money, every time you do an action, you need to pay for it. So if you calculate all these small amounts, you end up with a serious amount of money. And then we add what I explained to you earlier, and we come actually in a big amount of money. So check your things here and compare with other banks and see if you cannot make savings, because if this card is here, mostly you can adjust a lot of things and you can save some money. The next card that we are seeing here is the card, it's a little bit a cruel card here. We see here with this card that probably we spend too much. We saw here already the card of resilience here, or we spend too much in the past here. And this card urges us not to spend money anymore. We should control ourselves here, because if you keep spending here, we could literally hit our head against the wall. And the more that deepens, the more efforts you need to do and labor you will need to do for getting out of here. This is a warning card, and it wants to protect you here. Here also, if these are expenses or repaying of credit cards here, sometimes this is about expensive credit cards. I'm going to explain that also. We all have several credit cards. We have credit card companies, we have banks that we are connected to, but sometimes also we have a credit card that we always use if we need money, and the one in our classic bank don't work anymore. And mostly this card keeps giving you money. Why is that? Well, because they charge you enormous interests. These are no longer business people, they are sharks. So you need to be very careful with this kind of card. Actually, if you have debts on these people, you need to get rid of these debts as soon as possible. You need to put as soon as possible money in these accounts, try to balance them out. And if you don't actually need them, try to get rid of cards like that. Stay in your classic banking, or stay with the classic banks that just charge you if you're below zero, but normal interest, because some of these cards, they are really sharks here, and we need to be very careful here with certain of these cards. Anyway, sometimes also, as I mentioned earlier, this is also part of this card, it can point that certain expenses are always reoccurring. So we need to see here that not every month we go below zero. Maybe we need to learn important lessons here for balancing ourselves out. Sometimes this is also the card in connection, especially with this card, that we might be confronted with unexpected expenses. It's possible here, and we need to prepare ourselves, because we never know what is coming here. Especially sometimes this, as I said, this is a cruel card. It could be that you live beyond your means, so be careful here. Balance your cards out, try to get rid of debts here. It's very important to do so. You can gain some money here with the middle card, but we see here the card of resilience, so you will need to be able to balance yourself out. But I'm sure you can here, because it's not a very negative reading, but there is some balancing here to do. So Aries, this is all for the for the shell or the water group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the four will fit you. If you have interest in the classic Lenormand card readings, we do also Lenormand card readings, but they are very focused on your work, on the work front, on business, and on your work in general. So you can check them out also. And we do, of course, the spiritual philosophical card readings, who are more guiding a spiritual reading, but they can be a big help in the path of life. Anyway, Aries, you can check it out. And again, I thank you for your time. And of course, I thank you for subscribing to my channel. See you next time, Aries. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your short philosophical card reading. As your first card here, we see that every gesture, every step is accounting in our current situation. This is also about bank cards. Maybe there is some issue here with the bank cards. Maybe you see that some amounts of money that are disappearing in your account and you don't actually know where they are going. But of course, it's us that we pay small amounts of money with our bank card. Anyway, this is about that plastic money. It sometimes gives us the impression that it has no consequences, that it's not disappearing out of our. But here we see that. That it's very important here. Anyway, it's sometimes also, it's interesting with this card to try a different payment method. What does that mean? Well, we should go a little bit back. Maybe it's quite unusual, but maybe we should go back to paying cash. I know for a lot of you it will be going back to the time of the dinosaur, but the difference here is if we pay with a credit card, we just put the thing on the machine and the money is gone and we have no feeling. But actually, if the money is in our wallet, we hand it over to the cashier and we actually see it disappearing and we do an act. And it's different because our brain is actually calculating. And it's like it causes a psychological pain reaction in our brain. And sometimes to improve our finances here, it's important that these small amounts that we calculate. Some people came in problems by always spending small amounts of money. It's not necessary that we spend big amounts, but always small amounts. Sometimes it's a problem also. And here this card tells you, if you want to get yourself back in hand quickly and easily, stop by paying with your credit card and pay cash for a while. Just try this, and you will see probably that you will get more control, and you will see that you don't spend so much. It's like a series of small decisions, and you don't spend small amounts anymore, that you will get back on your feet. So this asks you for control. The next card here is what is the card of youth. What is this card tells us? Well, you probably know the famous dictions, boys will be boys, or you can also say girls just want to have fun. You probably also used it to justify some financial recklessness in the past. You buy an electronic gadget, you buy a pair of shoes, but of course, sometimes after we suffer the impact from these outbursts, regardless of a person's age, cash management and optimization, it requires a form of maturity. This awareness is accentuated and perfected as we get older here. It's the cycle of life. However, those who are quickly in control over consumption habits, they come strongly favored compared to certain peers. So here this card wants you to reflect over the situation that you are in, and it asks you if you are already mature, or do you still have a spendthrift and you still have outbursts. Here this card tells us maybe we should reflect over this wisely. If you have the advantage, this card tells us, of being youthful, and at the same time you are financially mature, this card tells you that your efforts soon will be greatly rewarded. If you have the assets of being older, wiser, experienced, use those abilities here in your advantage, and soon you will enjoy life's gifts with, of course, with moderation, and your rewards will follow soon. The next card is the card of acceptation. We need to accept certain conditions that we are in. Again, here we are here. The card reading is very close together. The cards are very close to each other here. Maybe we need to accept certain situation. We need to accept our situation for what is here. And if we want to keep ourselves out of the abyss or out financial distress, we need to adjust certain things here. It's imperative here that you make important changes here. This will not come, maybe a lot of you think here, oh, I'm gonna soon have an increase in salary or something like that here. But sometimes this is not really the solution. Whatever the point is right now, we can all aspire to the American dream of abundance and wealth here, but here we see that having a lot of money it's not necessarily associated with happiness. Of course, I'm aware we need it, but here we see that we must accept and appreciate our situation as it is today. And of course, also there will always be people who are better off than we are, but also there are people who are a lot poorer, especially in current conditions. A lot of people living in other countries who lost their salary, who sometimes can only eat once a day. There's a lot of problems here that are caused here by the viruses that are surrounding us. So we need to also reflect about that here, that our situation might not be so bad after all. Anyway, this tells us here that it's not matters of what we earn, but it's about management. Here we need to learn about management here. It's important that you learn to manage yourself, whatever your income may be. It's our actions that determine if we are having enough money or if we are short of money. So here we are urged to spend within the means or what we earn. So Aries, this is all for the Air group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the four will fit you. If you have interest in classic Lenormand card readings, we do also the classic Lenormand card readings. They are very focused on work and going ahead in life. And we also have the spiritual philosophical card readings, who are very good guides in our life. You can check it all out. It's all on my channel. Anyway, Aries, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, I thank you for subscribing to my channel. See you next time, Aries. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the Earth or the Stone group for your philosophical financial card reading. The first card that we see here is the card of resilience. Probably it means that we are a little bit in unbalance. Maybe there are certain circumstances that you are finding yourself in. Maybe there's some kind of insecurity here. And if we are in insecure conditions, resilience, it can be a great ally. Anyway, this card tells us also we cannot stay passive. We need to take action, which is very familiar for Aries. We cannot sublimate to our fate here. We need to reflect on our situation here. There are probably certain things that happened in our life. Maybe it's with our consent, maybe not with our consent. But anyway, sometimes we see here there are pros and cons. Anyway, we can also see that we need to acknowledge here that we learn an important life lesson here, and we need to try to make the best of it. It also reminds us that people who were wealthy sometimes come in trouble with always spending small amounts of money. Of course, here, this card tells us we cannot feel sorry for ourselves. We need to seek for solutions. We need to be persistent. We need to learn. If you see there are certain harmful behaviors that we have, and these problems that you are facing currently are popping up on regular basis here, maybe it's time to find a solution, because this points maybe to behavior that is not beneficial for you. Anyway, we need to become aware here with this card here of our flaws, of our weaknesses, and we need to turn them in certain advantages. So this is not about bad luck, but you need to see it as an obstacle that you must overcome. We must learn a lesson here, and we need to learn literally to be resilient resilient to bounce back here. When this small storm is calmed, you will recognize you have learned an important lesson. Maybe the reason is the next card that we are seeing here. This is the card of superstitious buying. What does this card tell us? Well, this is the card that probably we would have been able to avoid certain purchases. Maybe certain money has been going up in smoke. This card tells us to assess our expenses from the previous weeks, output our bills, our credit card, our debit card statements, if you don't know where the money is gone here. Possibly also there's some cash payments here. Maybe we paid some things in cash that we already forgotten about. Anyway, this is probably about things that we could have done without. Did you buy things here that you could have done without here? If these are like incidental returning costs, so it means they come back on regular basis, we should think about it here. And also we should think about the fact, what could we have offered ourselves with this money if we didn't had bought what we have bought. So this is about frivolous buying, so we should limit these extras here. If you try to avoid here, you can literally put the eggs in the basket here, and we can save for something else. Maybe you need to think about certain retirements. Maybe you need some changes in your house. Maybe you have some expenses on your car. Maybe there's something to do. Maybe you have a move. Maybe we should readjust here the payment here. There's here this card. It's not only for reflection, but it gives us also opportunities to adjust here. We need to adjust certain consumption habits. If you adjust certain consuming habits, you will see that you will take an important step forwards financially. The last card that we see here, it means that we are a generous person. Sometimes generosity, it can be part of a problem. It's possible that you are a very generous person, you're kind-hearted, probably you love the people around us, and sometimes it can make us spoil them too much. But this card wants us to make us think, the last toy that you bought for your children, maybe it was expensive, was it really necessary? Will your nephews love you less if you don't pamper them so much with always buying them certain things? We need to remember here, this card tells us that these purchases, they have a real impact on our daily life, and especially on our budget here. We need to be careful because we have a lot of cards here that we need to balance ourselves out. Anyway, a well-ordered charity, it starts by itself. We all know this proverb. We are about to learn an important lesson here when it spends too money. And if this is about generosity here, and if it leads to problems here, if it contributes to your financial distress here, of course, it has no place in our life. You should think wisely about this before you give to others. Secure your own future. Try to build a safety cushion up for yourself. Stimulate your own future rather than squandering surpluses on things that your family members may not need here. You can love your loved ones, but be careful here. Save money for your future. It's very important. This is what this card tells us. We need to remember here, this card tells us to remove the essential from the unnecessary. And if you do so, you will be able to establish a wallet, which will allow you, of course, to stay generous, but at the right time, at the right moment, and in an organized way. So this is all for the Stone Group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of it, Aries. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the four will fit you. If you have interest in Lenormand card readings, we do also classic Lenormand card readings, and these are oriented on work and business. Whatever applies on you, you can find them also on my channel. And then we also have the philosophical spiritual card readings, who are more spiritual approach toward life, but they are very good guides, and you can find very nice answers in them. You just check them out. You have nothing to lose. You only can gain knowledge there. Anyway, Aries, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, I thank you for subscribing to my channel. See you next time, Aries. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Aries, and welcome to the matches or the fire group for your financial philosophical card reading for the month of February. As the first card here, we see the card of love here. It probably means that you love your partner deeply, your children, your friends, your family, the people around you, and you want to show them affection. And of course, this is also the card about spoiling them. You buy them a present here and there. You are kind-hearted, some money there, some dinner out here, all to express your feelings of love towards them. Here we see also that year by year you are searching for the rare pearl to make their eyes shine again here. But this card tells us also that love cannot be bought, and you're aware of that here. But sometimes this card tells us, and mostly it tells us, that actually you can give them the most precious gift and the most expensive gift of all, and it costs you nothing. And this is a card that asks you to spend some time with your loved ones. Spend some time with them in private. Show them your interest by valuing them your time and not money at all costs here. The best memories that we share with the people around us are though related to small anecdotes, to activities that we did together with our loved ones. And it doesn't come necessarily from object and toys. Mostly it doesn't come. So this card tells us to be gentle with yourself. See the positive impact that will come from it. Not only financially, it will improve yourself, but also it will deepen your relationship with the people you have close to you. The next card that we are seeing here is the card of budget. What does this card tells us? Well, budgeting, it's a form of leadership. Normally, Aries is very familiar with leadership. They like to be in control. They like to do their own thing here. Anyway, we see here with this card here that for achieving certain leadership, it also requires certain maturity. For yourself, you need to mature. If you are a type that can handle your money very well, or you have no idea how to handle money. There are two groups here that we are seeing here, and you need to see if you are a budget type or not. If you are one of those people that have the habit of actually budgeting here, and you are in some kind of problem, maybe it's related here to what we saw earlier, and maybe you are too kind-hearted here, and we need to think about that here. Sometimes this is also about that we are planning to do some expenses around us. Maybe it's in your house, maybe you're about to spend some money for something, maybe your house, maybe you have previewed something, maybe some new equipment for the house. But this card sometimes tells us that we might have miscalculated. Maybe you need to adjust your budget. And sometimes it means this card that we are approximately 10% off. There will be more expenses to come about things that you are about to buy. So double check here, make your calculation again, because mostly there's something off here with this card. Anyway, sometimes also it's a flaw if we make certain calculations that we don't add certain amounts. If we do some changes in our house, we need to always add a certain amount, so we have a safety zone here. This is sometimes something we don't do. So this is what this card is also about. Anyway, if we see, sometimes it's also about cash payment. If you pay a lot with credit cards, sometimes this card is also about cash payments. So it means if we spend a lot of money with our credit cards and we see that we spend too much, maybe on the first card here that we saw earlier, maybe we should try to pay cash. If we pay cash, we have more feeling with the cards, because we actually hand the money over to the cashier and we actually feel a pay response. We actually keep the money in our hands and we see it disappearing out of our wallet. And it can be a very good exercise for balancing ourselves out. Sometimes if we do that, we can balance ourselves very fast. And if we continue using credit cards or our current style, sometimes it makes the situation worse. So this is like a card. We need to adjust a little bit the way we pay. Anyway, you should determine what is best for you. And if you do so, you will see that you will find your financial balance. The next card that we are seeing here is the card of evolution. Evolution is a part of our life. We all evolve over the years. Decades that follow each other are not alike. Sometimes it's not even decades. If we think 3 years back, it's almost a pre and an after world that we are in here with the conditions that are all over the world. It's like we don't know what is coming, and the world is changed all over the place. It's all over the place. We don't know what we are doing sometimes with this current condition, with these viruses around us. Anyway, so we see the world can change very fast in a very short period of time. Many people will undergo a lot of changes the year to come and have already undergone certain changes. But anyway, this is about adjustment in payments here that we are seeing here. 20 years ago, probably you would have found it unusual to pay large amounts of money, for instance, for internet. There are certain expenses here that are changing, and our needs are changing. They are increasing, and therefore sometimes we must eliminate what was essential before or in the past, and which today is no longer important or no longer serves us. For instance, if you no longer receive any calls at home, what's the purpose of your landline? So you should consider if you cancel this number, because what's the purpose of it, and you pay for it. If you no longer watch broadcasts on your subscriptions from the TV channels, and you always catch yourself watching TV online, what's the purpose of that you pay for your subscription? For instance, if you are subscribed to a car magazine or a women's magazine, and these versions, they are available online, and you pay 30 to 40% less. Why should you keep the paper version if you can save money with just buying the online version? Anyway, here, this is about reviewing our monthly payments and adjust to current times. If you do so, you can save a lot of money that way. So Aries, this is all for the fire group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, if you have interest in classic Lenormand card readings, we do those also, and they are orientated on work and business for you, for your work, for your earnings, how your work is evolving. You just check it out here. We can always get a little bit wiser out of it. There are also spiritual philosophical card readings, and they guide us in our path of life. You can get some nice things out of there also. We never know too much. Anyway, Aries, I want to thank you for your time, and I also want to thank you for subscribing to my channel. See you next time, Aries. Bye-bye for now.